Use it here. Gandalf, I am here to talk about The Hobbit.
I'm sorry the discussion for the top podcast book club is happening on their Discord. If you want to have your opinion of The Hobbit, you'll have to go there.
Well, I'm here now, so could we just talk about it?
I'm sure you thought that was terribly clever, but no. We are about to start the pod. You can find the link to the Discord in the description.
Come on, Tharkun, just let me in.
You shall not pass!
We look forward to talking with you in the Discord.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Rob. I'm joined with me and my friends Lou.
What's up, beef and cheddars?
And Mike.
God.
Oh, gosh. So carry over there. But each week, we like to start off each podcast with an icebreaker. What do you got for us this week, Lou?
What's your favorite small nostalgia memory? Something that you go back to on random.
But what do you got for us? You asked the
It makes
question.
you
You
feel
got to go
good.
first.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, my favorite, I always go back to, especially when I smell fresh grass. I think about Bear Lake. I mean, our listeners are probably really tired of talking about this random place that we all went to.
Nah,
But I think
90%
about-
of them went there too. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I think about waking up and going to, not cabin meetings, what were they used to call
Counselor
it? Counselor
meetings?
meetings?
Oh, counselor meetings, yeah, and the grass was
And
all
it's
wet
like-
and it screwed up your shoes.
Yep.
Yeah, but it also smelled really good. And
That
it's
was
just
manure coming from the farm across the way.
It depends on the day.
was-
There were days that smelled
depending on
bad,
the
for
day.
sure. But there were
Especially
some days-
early in the
Depending on
summer.
the day.
Early in the summer.
I'm
manure.
not. Don't call me a poop smeller. That'd be wild. I definitely don't want that
Hey, you
on
smell
my
poop.
resume. No, I mean, but that's not what I
You
enjoyed the smell
poop
of.
in the morning. And
I
you-
like the smell of the grass, the dewy grass, the sunshine. It felt like the Lord created that day. That's what I go to.
It was a beautiful day at Bear Lake Bible Camp.
There we go.
What do you got, Mike?
I every now and then I forget that we're live, and I'm like all queued up to say just the most raunchy, disgusting thing for the sake of a little shock value, and then I'm like, oh nope, we don't edit these anymore, and I can't say stuff that will then be off the pod. Just wanted to throw that out there, no reason. But
What were you thinking about?
I'll tell you later. But for me, I had a buddy who lived a couple blocks down in my neighborhood in Allen Park named Dave. And the summer before my family moved out of Allen Park to Westland, the hill in Allen Park with all those shopping centers got put in. And we were like right across one, I don't know the name of the street. It might have been Outer Drive. We were across the street from the hill, essentially. And so we figured out that the Target that's up there had a crazy deal on 24-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew, 6-packs. And so we just scraped together as much loose change as we could and bike up there, and we'd get a 6-pack of Mountain Dew. And we'd bike back down to this tree that was right by a little walk bridge over this stream that ran through the neighborhood. And we'd climb up to this tree, and there were 2 perfect sitting points. And we would drink, what's 24 times 3, 60, 72 ounces each of Mountain Dew. And at one point, we were just sitting there chatting, and it was those middle school conversations that they weren't deep, but for middle schoolers, it was like as close as you could get.
You guys were high on sugar, so.
Yeah,
Right
you guys
in the
are probably
middle of that
teens,
conversation, I just puked the most like brilliantly neon green vomit stream you've ever seen in your life. And we were like, whoa, that was awesome. And we just kept
That's a
doing
middle school
that.
guy.
Like I didn't
oh,
throw
man.
up like that every time. It was just that one time. But we that was like a recurring thing for the rest of the summer.
You just
And
forced
I
yourself
don't
to
remember what
puke.
we talked about. No, it was just the one. But that comes to mind, and yeah.
It's like my buddy telling me he drank 3 Monsters in a day and was pissing the color of Monster.
That I believe as well.
The red monster.
No, it was the regular Monster. Yeah, oh gosh. Or the blue one. The blue one.
Salt!
It was white. It was clear, and I'll get that. For me, I'm gonna go with a sense of smell. So for any of the degenerates like me out there that have a gambling problem, that when you buy a new pack of cards, you rip open the pack and you just you smell that. Take a deep smell, especially Yu-Gi-Oh cards back in the day. Pokemon cards also have it, but man, that smell of like opening a pack of trading cards, it's hard to beat. It's a nostalgia smell for me for sure.
I've never smelled that.
Missing out.
Me neither. First thing I think of is when they used to have the instruction manual in video games.
Oh,
You crank that up.
I love the smell of that. Yeah, that was it for me.
Yeah.
I will say. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if anyone knows where to get a new card smell candle, I will buy that instantly.
Ooh,
I got some beef. This is an old man Mike moment, but I got some beef with whoever decided that Pokemon cards needed slimmer, like borders around the edge of the card. I liked the old school, nice thick yellow border, and then they kind of shrunk it up. And if you're doing like a full art card, fine, but standard cards, I like that chunky border.
Watch out, Mike. Some of the borders are now silver. I thought you were gonna go with like Fat Pikachu that they skinnied up. They sexed up Pikachu.
I'm fine with sex.
No, Fat Pikachu's where it's at.
no,
He does
no,
just fine
don't
for
say
me,
that.
but-
No. That Pikachu, he's a rat.
You know I'm a degenerate.
Actually, he's a mouse.
No. Okay. Okay.
Well, Pokemon Trainer camp. I had to speak for him. I could hear him shouting down in Oklahoma a week in advance. So I had to. All right. Well, Lou, what are we talking about this week?
Shoot. What are we talking about this week, guys? We're talking about top three things that are objectively good, but you don't like them.
Mike, you wanna have your beef with this?
Yeah, so I have a tough time with non-moral things being referred to as objectively good. It's my pedantic semantic struggle that I live with. It's not normal people would be okay with this. So Rob and I both kind of also used wildly popular. Rob seems to have leaned more into that. I kind of used it to balance out the idea of objectively good. Because I don't think that art can like I don't know. I struggle with it, but I got a weird kind of list put together. So
yeah, and last thing before we get started, this is a new format, so let us know what you guys think. Basically, with this, we're gonna hopefully get out more shorts. So be sure to go check out our YouTube channel if you're not on that, and we should be getting more shorts out to you guys with this new format. But Lou, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is raw onion.
Ooh.
I can't stand raw onion on anything. I don't like it on burgers. I don't like it on
Coney dogs.
corny dogs. I don't like it in salads.
Pizza. Oh,
I can't stand it on pizza. I can't stand cooked onions on pizza, but that's a different.
with you
It's a
there.
whole nother. I cannot find chili, anything. I don't like it. Oh, tacos. There's never a time where I'm like, I could go for some raw onion on.
You've never just
Not a
taken
fan.
a bite out of one just to see?
I've
Never done.
I've never done it either. I just want to see if anyone.
Oh no,
trying
I've
to
eaten a
out you
raw
guys.
onion before.
Whoa! Why? You're just like
I've been eating
It's
a
called
bite out of
exposure
raw onion.
therapy, Rob.
you saw
Yeah.
holes and you're like, man, those onions look good.
I mean, low key, they made it seem.
I
that way.
mean,
I think they were made out of
Yeah,
apples
They
or
made
something.
you feel like that
Yeah.
that juice was gonna taste like they made me think that onions should kind of taste like peaches.
yeah, easily.
They don't ever.
I mostly agree with you. The only time I'll have raw onion and enjoy it is on a coney dog.
To be fair though, they are like it is the finest of them all. Like they're cut really thin, so you're not getting like a big bite of raw onion.
Yeah. And
Getting
I
the vibe.
and I do usually cut down, like pick off some of the onions they have, so it's not the complete overwhelming. But I used to be no onions whatsoever, so I've grown.
Yeah.
Guacamole.
Oh my gosh, that's honestly the worst version. Isn't guacamole? I respect it. Do you? But I'd rather eat an onion ring than just a raw.
Well, everything tastes better fried.
fried.
Onions.
Well, that's
Good
fair.
lord. Ugh.
You don't like onion rings, but you like raw onions.
I'll eat an onion ring, but it is my least favorite way to have an onion.
Interesting.
Wow.
Let us know down in the
those little
comments
thin,
below.
crispy strips. That's different. Those are.
The ones that they put like on green bean casserole.
Yeah, it's
The onion
or,
crisps,
like they
yeah.
also will put them on like burgers, where it's like just an incredibly thin, long, strand of onion that they
Yeah.
deep fry. My
Yeah.
complaint with onion rings is that the chunk of onion is a little too thick, and so it ends up somewhere between raw and cooked, and it just feels slimy and gross to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm
They've
like,
upgraded.
yeah, I hate pickles. I want to like them, but I don't. But outside
it's
of
not your
fried
turn yet,
pickles,
Mike.
where I absolutely hate them, dang, that'd have been a good one.
That would have been a good one.
Outside
I
of
love
fried
pickles.
pickles, onion ring is my least favorite fried food.
Interesting. Well, what I want to know is Jacob and Andrew's brother. What's your favorite way to consume an onion if you had to eat one? Because I figure you're not a big onion guy. So let us down. Specifically, you let us down below in the comments know. That was a freaking jumble of words. But anyone else, let us know your favorite way to consume onions down in the comments below. For my number 3, I went with one of the most popular things in the world. It is one of the most popular ways. It probably is the most popular way to unhealthily deal with your problems and get inebriated, and that is beer. I cannot
that's
stand the taste of beer. It doesn't matter, IPA, whatever it is. People have tried giving me all of them. I can't stand it. I don't know if it's hops or what part of the process, or even wheat beer I don't like. What part of the process it is, I can't stand it. You know, a lot of people say the more you drink of it, you'll develop a taste, but also the more you drink, the better it tastes. No, I can't even stomach drinking all that. The only one that was okay was like Gold Star, and it's when I was in the Middle East, I had it. I could finish the glass, but I didn't want to have any more. And I don't get it, man. I don't. No, beer is not for me.
Yeah, I don't share your level of disdain, but all honesty, there's like maybe 2 beers where I'm like, this is perfect, and there's nothing I would change. And then there's maybe like 5 beers where I'm like, this is like range from that perfect mark down to like, this is good. I can enjoy this. I'm not forcing anything about this. And then every other beer on the planet, I'm like, I'd rather have like a diet root beer.
I mean, Diet root beer is absolutely delicious.
Dude, Diet A is A&W 0 sugar. Not sponsored, but I'd like to be. And not even for the money. I just want some free product because I drink the crap out of some A&W 0. It's indistinguishable from the real thing.
It's so good.
Lou, do you like
Dr.
beer?
Pepper's pretty good too.
It's not bad.
Do you like beer, Lou?
Do I like beer? That's a weird question.
Is it?
I like. Oh well, I mean, I've recently been on a kick with alcohol is poison, and you're poisoning your body when you drink it. That's
So our
just objective
cheeseburgers, but you know, hey,
Pretty
here we are.
accurate.
Well, cheeseburgers, they're food. You get nutrients out of it.
You get
protein. You don't
yeah.
get any nutrients out of.
No, probably not any good ones. It's minuscule, if any.
Protein,
No,
carbs.
alcohol is
Carbs, yeah.
alcohol is poison.
Is just
It
poison.
can be fun, but it's poison.
It's just poison. So I'm just going to make that stance there. I'll follow through with I really enjoy beer with lemonade. I enjoy that quite a bit.
Like a shandy.
Like a shandy. Yeah, I'm a big shandy guy. I won't drink it all the time, but I am lighter, not like drinking pee, like Budweiser or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't drink any of that stuff, but like a nice little like a nice little shandy with just cold. I'm a fan.
Now it's weird. I actually do like the taste of car bombs, which is Guinness. But there's also mixed in with Jameson and Bailey's, and whatever reason, I really enjoy that taste.
Dangerous and expensive, but
Yes.
like that's why I like Guinness. I used to hate Guinness, and then I had a car bomb. And weird fact about me, I've never lost a car bomb race in my entire life. Nobody I've ever met and drank a car bomb with at the same time has finished their car bomb faster than I have. I'm sure that person's out there who can give me a run for their money, and I don't have them much anymore. but it is a weird skill I've had since like my 21st birthday. Somebody brought out a round, and I was just like, and just boom, done. I was the first one.
You
We're
gotta
control.
We're gonna have to give him a slurp minimum.
A maximum, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, maximum. No, I want 3 slurps per episode. Yeah.
Welcome to the Slurp Podcast.
Welcome to the Slurp Podcast.
But no, I at some point I was like, I like these so much, but you can't. They're not sustainable. You can't just have a bunch of car bombs in a night and come out alive. And at some point I was like, well, Guinness is all right. And then there's a coffee. I don't know if it's still being made, but for a while you could get a can of like cold brew nitrous infused Guinness. Gentlemen, that is what beer was always meant to taste like. Like I had that sip and I was like, oh,
I doubt it.
This is what I thought it would be like.
Well, Mike, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is gonna piss Lucian off so much.
Is it Red Rising? Because I swear if it is, I'm gonna lose my mind.
You read 2 chapters. I don't think that counts.
Didn't even consider Red Rising, actually. Literally did not cross my mind once. It's therapy.
Well, I mean, it just only proves that you might need it, but whatever.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
No, I want to be...
Hey, no.
Oh my gosh, no.
Don't slurp up those emotions.
That's it. That's my 3rd. We're done for the episode. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not opposed to discussing your feelings and analyzing them, and both a psychological, sociological, neurochemical examination of your actions and your patterns. I'm all for it, right? The general thing that are accomplished through therapy, I don't mind. I just get really hung up on paying a stranger to give me any level of advice. And I've worked very hard to foster a community of people I trust and who I think are wise and who are both willing to hear my problems and whose problems I am willing to hear. And I journal regularly, and I run those journal entries through ChatGPT. And I was talking to Lucian about this earlier. I got ChatGPT. I'm not saying it's a therapist. I don't treat it like a therapist, but as a tool to analyze patterns and to compare them to behavioral theory models, effective. And so I think people should be examining their emotions and the root causes behind things they feel. And, maybe I got mad about this because there's a deeper insecurity about that thing. And, something struck a chord and it vibrated through the web. All for that kind of stuff. I don't know you, man. I'm paying you my money. And I have to stop. I stopped paying you my money when I get better. And so I don't trust that your model will ever help with that. And so, again, the concept of therapy, I think, in general, good. Really, therapists, I don't like it.
How does that make you feel?
Got him.
So if I was a therapist and I'm like, hey, I'll give you a heavily discounted one, would you come and try it? Because then because I feel like I've gotten hung up in this, especially like trying to find a therapist like that. Those first sessions are just awkward as all get out. So you're like, yeah, I don't know this person. But if you knew someone and they gave you a heavy discount, would you go to it? Just out of curiosity.
Maybe. Okay. Here's the thing. If it was like Lucian, if Lucian turned around tomorrow and was like, hey guys, I've secretly been getting my credentials. I am a credentialed therapist. Mike, I'll do your first session for free. I'd probably still say no. But only because right now we're talking about the first one being free. And we all know how that works. And so, yeah, it needs to be a continual thing, I think, for it to be effective. And there's so many factors too. Like, I need to vet my therapist before I'm going to trust this guy's or girl's analysis and advice. I need to know how they feel about religion. I need to know their structure within religion. I need to know their opinions on a whole bunch of different things, because those are going to inform, in my opinion, the advice they give. And they're going to inform how they hear what I'm saying. And so by the time I get to the point where I'm willing to trust you and you've passed my vetting process and you know me well enough to speak to what's going on, I'm perfectly happy having good conversations with family and respected people in my church circle, and I've found that to be wildly effective as a form of self evaluation.
I just imagine Michael goes in for the free consultation, and they give him that paper to fill out. And then he just whips out his own paper. It's like, hey, can you fill this out when I'm filling this out? And then by the end of this, we'll know if this is a good fit or not.
I see therapy in two different ways. One way, sorry, I've thought about this quite a bit. Do you guys ever like get a bunch of cords all tangled up, like a bunch of them, and you work really hard to try to untangle the cords, and you just tangle the cords more, and then you give your cords to your parent, and you're like, hey, can you fix this? And they untangle it for you. You guys ever did that?
No, I was too stubborn.
No, okay.
I get where you're going this, so I don't want to say yes. But
Yeah.
continue.
Not since I got wireless headphones back when I had, put those headphones in my pocket. Woo!
Wireless
So
headphones, the ChatGPT of the therapy world.
That's one way that I see therapists, is that I'm just giving my tangled emotional cords to a therapist, and they're not giving me advice. They're just untangling the things that happen to me and making them clearer for me to understand, and how my body is reacting and that. And then a second, this is a kind of a sillier way that I see it, is I watched this TV show called Succession. I think I butchered that. I always butcher it.
Succession?
Succession, yes. Succession. And
I wanted to slurp so bad right there.
there's
Too bad
a
you hit your
scene-
max.
There's a scene where they're explaining this role called the Sin Eater. And this isn't. I'm still workshopping this.
I was gonna say I just heard the like.
I'm still workshopping
work
this, so
in
please don't
progress.
judge me. Please don't judge me. But how the Sin Eater works is a group of people put their sins in a cake, and
They eat it
then
too?
they give it, and then they give it to a guy to eat it, and then that person eats the sins, but he gets to eat cake too.
Mm.
So
There it is.
I'm treating my therapist. Not spiritually. Is the only person that could spiritually forgive me for my sins is Jesus. But emotionally, I put all my emotions into a cake, and then my therapist eats it up, delicious, and that's why I'm paying him. To
I
do
slurp
that.
it up.
So,
I still got my
Oh, no,
slurps.
that was not me.
no.
I still got my slurps.
So that's
So,
how
mean,
I
yeah, I think what you're talking about is there's a Greek word for it. I often get it wrong, but I believe it's pathos, which is right, just the idea of like getting it all out, right?
Yeah.
And that's someone who will just let you get it all out. And for me, like I agree. I think those are two really good goals of therapy. I just find personally that I achieve both of those things through my own methodology, and then I'm like, well, then why on earth am I going to pay somebody exorbitant amounts of money to do that for me?
That's fair. I also am not pitching therapy to you. It's just like what therapy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, just want to make sure.
Mike's like, I could amputate this, infected finger, or ChatGPT can tell me how to do it. Why
Or
would I pay
ChatGPT.
someone? No.
That's funny.
And I will say, one thing that I do think
to
is
be
nice.
clear, ChatGPT is not like my exclusive therapy
where he gets his facts.
solution. It is a tool in the belt. Like,
It just like deletes itself off his phone. Like I can't take it anymore.
This man has too many problems.
This man, I can't do it.
And I will say one nice thing though about therapy is it's nice to have someone that's separate from like everyone in the conversation, like that they can have an unbiased. Because like if you talk to me, Mike, say you're talking to me about Lou, I'm gonna have my own biases in there, or vice
Absolutely.
versa. So I think that's also a nice thing is just to have that removed person.
yeah, it's why I always go directly to Christian with my issues with Lou.
There you go. You want the source.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like you loved that joke.
So good.
What's your number 2, Lou?
Oh, my number two. Sorry, it took me a minute to figure out that my name is Lou. My number two is musicals. Especially live. I'm gonna stick with live musicals because I will say there are a handful of musicals that I don't mind, but to see a group of people singing and dancing and acting really aggressively makes me want.
Have you
to do
only
things
been to
on
high
this
school musicals by chance?
Nope, I went
Okay.
to other musicals. One of my wife's friends was in a musical as an adult, and yeah, it's the way that they project their voices. It just feels so artsy fartsy to me. I just can't handle it. Can't do it. So, but I understand why people like it. So, and I hope the youth group kid that is in musicals all the time doesn't listen to this. Because that would
You wouldn't
that
go
would
see his
really
musical if they asked?
no, I've been to 3 of their musicals.
There you go.
He just
And
hated
it's
it.
different when there's a
Stacking
kid that
on
you
it.
care about. But I would not do it by myself.
Not even like a Broadway. Like this is the
Even worse.
The
Oh no,
the
you
creme
couldn't- you
creme de
could
la
not-
creme.
the best of a bad bunch still is a bad bunch.
Yeah, could it just, and it's like if I do that, it's expensive too. I could not.
See, you're coming around to my views on therapy already.
Mike, have you
different, but yeah.
seen or heard of Into the Woods? I feel like you would like Into the Woods. It's like a satire of musicals.
No, I have not. The closest I've ever come is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend season 1. I thought that was pretty compelling television. Live.
Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt is not a musical.
Yes, it's
an
100% a
animated
musical.
film. It's an animated film with musicals. Is The Lion King a musical?
Yes.
Okay, well you're wrong then, and you need to work on your classification.
Hold on, let me ask ChatGPT.
Uh-oh.
Make sure you ask it to define terms too. You gotta know what you're doing with that beast. By the way,
You got it.
I've spent a lot of time getting decent at using that. I don't know if we're
Google's
waiting.
AI says yes, The Lion King is a musical.
Google's AI
first of
is
all,
whack.
you gotta trust that even less.
Yeah.
I also understand the differences between certain AIs, and Google AIs not my favorite. Yeah, but Into the Woods couldn't pay me. I don't care if it's supposed to be making fun of musicals. That the problem is, unless it's supposed to be making fun of musicals by not singing, it's a musical, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
The music is never good, right? Like,
yeah, not a big show tunes fan.
are we doing?
Nothing suits me like a suit. I'd go see that, and that only performed live.
ChatGPT also agrees with Google, and I specifically asked, "Is a Lion King movie a musical?"
How does it define a musical?
Yep.
In fact, why don't you just press that? I don't know if this is a paid feature only, but you can press the little speech button on the bottom right, and then it'll talk to you, and we can hear its answers.
Well, you wouldn't be able to hear it through the Discord, but I'll put it through our Facebook. But I'm just saying this. I'm not a big musical guy. I'd rather see like a play. But I frick with the original musical. I was in a couple in grade school, but not grade school. Well, yes, I was as well, but like middle school and high school. So I just know I can hear Becca shouting from wherever her friend's house right now, saying, "Lucian, you have to listen to Hamilton." And no, it's not just because it's hip hop, but because she likes it.
Hamilton's hip hop?
Yeah, they do. Most of their scores are like a more rappy hip hop style.
That sounds worse, honestly.
Ooh. Oh, Becca, I'm sorry. Go ahead, put your comment down below, Becca. Let us know.
Sorry, Becca.
What do you think, Mike? Are you looking over the evidence?
Oh, I'm scanning through my own ChatGPT questions at the moment.
He's like, I need number 2. What is it?
Well, I'm right now. I'm researching the definition of a musical because I suspect I'm gonna be like, okay, well, if you define it that way, then sure. Like, if it's any story told with songs included, then yeah, it's a musical. But like, I feel like there's a strong difference between the experience of watching a musical and watching a Disney or a DreamWorks animated film.
Those are all musicals, my guy.
I'm aware of your take. Thank you. I just don't like. I'm saying the experience is not the same. Like, here's the thing, right? You can watch The Lion King, and sure, there are a couple of pivotal scenes that happen through song. But for the most part, like, you're never like, gosh, why can't they just talk for more than 10 seconds at a time? Why do they have to sing every critical plot detail? Why can't we just get a scene with some actual acting? You have that in The Lion King. With the musical, you're just desperate for some like actual things to happen without song. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Last thing I'll ask is, have you seen Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Adventure blog?
I tried to because you love that so much.
Great movie.
And
you couldn't last through 40 minutes? Wow. What has the TikTok done to this generation?
I mean, tell
normally
Christian.
I can last 40 minutes, but that one
just doesn't sound pleasant. All right, my number 2, another big one. All of mine are big ones because I just went with, very broad, and it is the most popular sport in the world, and the correct term is soccer. And my first beef I'll have with this is that in the UK they started calling it soccer in like the 17th or 18th century, but once Americans started using it, they started phasing out soccer in the 1970s and had this superiority complex as, no, it's football. No, it's soccer. We got it from you. And then they also don't care that other countries say it, but whatever. I don't understand it. I tried playing it as a kid, and I don't. I guess Luke's can be like, oh, or someone else can be like, oh, you can't sit through 90 minutes where only 2 goals happen, if that. But like, you don't actually like being a casual. You never know how long the game's gonna go. Being in the U.S., all the big leagues and everything are super early in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. I'm not doing that. Soccer players, flopping's an issue. If you got a problem with the NBA flops, you're gonna have a problem with the Champions League or whatever. And I don't get soccer or football. I'd rather watch rugby, but if I had to choose between like a British sport, the UK, I'd watch it over cricket or soccer. But in my opinion, it's a weak sport to be the world sport, quote unquote.
Yeah,
and I'm going to get lynched by soccer fans now, because those fans are passionate
and they're fast.
Yeah.
So last week we recorded the podcast on a Monday because somebody went into the small group me and was like, hey, somebody in our small group, her team's playing a soccer game this Tuesday. Do you guys want to go and support her? And I was like, hey.
You skipped the podcast for an effing soccer match?
I rescheduled the podcast for a football match. Mm-hmm. And then it turned out that the game started at 9:30 p.m. and
you didn't even go.
The start time, and I didn't even have to reschedule. Luckily, I got to take a nap. I took like a 2-hour nap after dinner and then went to the game. It was played on a smaller than regulation field. It was like a hockey rink, but it was turf. I'll tell you what, that was some entertaining sports to watch. It was fast-paced, balls going back and forth. The second score was legitimately really awesome and impressive. And I was like, you know what? If I could watch, I would sign up to go watch more amateur, like, arena-style soccer. I'd have been there not to support a friend. I'd have just gone to watch that, especially if you were like, hey, we can assure you that this is going to be, like, 2 of the better teams in this amateur league. I'd be like, I'm there. Absolutely. Hook me up with a oversliced dog and an expensive beer.
So if we asked you 2 weeks ago, what would have been your opinion?
Oh, no, I'd have said it sucks, always, unless it's backyard soccer, the game. But, like, I'll tell you what, it's salvageable. They just play on these massive fields with too many people. That's all. Could be good. It's not.
And I will say,
ultimately, I agree, but
I would still go, like, if I was in, UK and there's a match happening, I would go just to try it. Because some people are like, you're not a hockey, like if you don't like hockey, go to a hockey game, and then if you really don't like it after that, then like, hey, you're not a fan. But like the atmosphere will make fans out of people. So I'd go try it and see what it's all about. But yeah, or if I was in Detroit, I'd go to like one of the Detroit City football clubs. But yeah, not for me. What about you, Lou?
It's crazy, but I was gonna say pretty much the same thing Mike was gonna say. The only thing that I will add is that I do enjoy playing FIFA. I think FIFA is pretty fun. Yeah.
Which
yeah,
FIFA's the
I
best?
feel. I don't know. I never really cared enough to buy each one, but I feel I have the same feelings on hockey than I do with soccer. They're pretty fun when you go with the right amount of people. Like hockey fans are the best fans I think of all time. They are like the perfect amount of drunk for me, and they're polite. But yeah, I would never play it, and I don't think you could pay me to watch a whole game, like a big one. So.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Let us know down in the comments. What's your favorite soccer team?
AFC
Mike.
Richmond.
Mike, what's your number 2?
My number two is something I want to like. It's objectively good for you. I think it sucks,
Vegetables. Oh.
but it's running for like miles at a time, like long runs.
Mm.
I
Put that down.
ugh, everything about that makes my skin crawl. But we played some dodgeball variants a few weeks ago, and
Stafford Rice Ball?
no, but it was fun like that, and it resulted in like I think first mate Dan timed it. I think we played for 78 minutes of like, unless you were out, it was just solid sprinting the whole time. And my legs hurt for days, and I was just gasping for air the whole time. And I was like, I need to run more. Now it was right before I was able to start biking to work again. So, pretty long break from cardio, and I'm getting older. So I'm not entirely sure if, a month from now, once I'm really back in the swing of biking everywhere, if I could do that and be totally fine, or if the sprints are different than, an endurance run or a long bike like I do. But yeah, running sucks. It is not fun. I don't understand. People talk about the runner's high. I've never made it far enough to get a runner's high.
I feel it's like 5 miles.
Yeah, it sounds, get to 5 miles. Are you kidding me?
But then it's euphoric.
Sounds awful. But yeah, I think that's like some kind of hormone because you're about to die and you're just like, okay, well.
The adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah. Ugh.
You can get a lifter's high too. I enjoy getting lifter's high.
That I can believe.
Yeah, I will
I was gonna
go
let
to
you
the
go.
fact that like it feels like you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
I've only had to run a handful of times, and yeah, it legitimately feels like you're dying. But it is good for you,
Mm-hmm.
and we're made to do it.
I also hate running, but I like in high school when I was running the most often as I did. Like it did feel good once you got done with like a 4-mile run or whatever. So,
You ran 4 miles?
Yeah, 5 is the most I've ran. I'm not saying I ran it quickly, but I did. Didn't get that runner's high too because I was just too exhausted. And
Was it for like because when you wanted to join the army?
no, well, I never wanted to join the army, but didn't.
Oh,
How
I'm
dare
sorry.
you, sir?
I thought you did.
No,
My bad.
Military,
My bad. I
yeah,
thought you
but
did.
no. I mean that and just track. I just tried running. I didn't want to be a thrower, but being a big kid, I was a thrower. I wanted to break the mold. I didn't want to be just like I didn't want to be a lineman, but I was a big kid, so I had to be a lineman.
Had to be a
type of
lineman.
thing, Yep.
Dude, Rob is an incredibly graceful catcher of the football. Like, Lynn Swan was cut from the same cloth as Rob, I tell you.
I don't think I'm old enough
Played a
to
little
know who
pickup
Lynn
with
Swan
Robin.
is.
He was a receiver for the Steelers in the 70s.
It's definitely not. I would have liked playing anything. Well, I don't think I would have liked corner, but I like the D line. But I would have loved to play receiver or even running back. I think running back would have been fun. But that's not long distances. And then I would have torn my ACL and still be here where I'm in today.
Hey, with a cool scar though.
It's true.
We could have been Scar Brothers.
Number ones.
Number one.
Yeah, why not?
What's the furthest you ran, Lou? Have you gotten to 2 miles?
Furthest I ran, I got to. No, I've never been a great runner. So I ran. I think. Sorry, yeah. It's almost embarrassing. I only ran like a mile throughout altogether.
Like it's not too uncommon.
I've always been like, yeah, it's just not.
That
I
very
had to
well
do.
may be my longest run too. Like I can't think of a single time I've ran more than a mile straight without just be like.
Yeah, like 2021 when COVID kind of like chilled out a tad, and I just was in the house eating taquitos.
We went for a few
over
runs.
and over again. I was like, yes, yes, you were part of one of my runs. I do remember.
Yeah,
we ate. Yeah,
we ate Chick-fil-A and then went on like a mile run and it just felt awful.
We ate for a day. Yeah, it was the worst feeling I've ever had.
But I think we pushed each other.
I thought it was gonna. Yeah. So yeah, you remember my running phase.
Why didn't
So,
you?
yeah,
just,
I got
like,
to a
load up on
mile.
fettuccine Alfredo first.
Well, that's not the
carbo
Lord's
load.
chicken. That's different. That's so funny. I forgot that we did that run. That's the second time. That's the second time we ran together. That's fun.
We did a few of them.
What was I saying? A few of them.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one at Bear Lake. I mean, we
don't
can,
talk about
but
it
I
at
don't
Bear
care.
No, it's okay. No, we were good. Yeah. Never been a fan.
Mike talked about his
Yeah.
puking story, so I might as well talk about. Yeah, I sprinted so much I puked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So in college we did 10 or 11 sprints up and down the football field, 110 yards. At I think like 12 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was our conditioning test in college. And I was training for that, and Robert ran with me, and I think you made it halfway until you threw up.
Yeah, and that was going from
And
no
I-
conditioning or strength training. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
not good at that.
Not fun. Not fun.
All right, Lou, what's your number one?
My number one, I wish I liked this so much because it's so cheap. It can be cheap, I guess. But thrifting for me makes just the most disgusting activity that people just absolutely love, and I just don't understand. It just feels like I'm rummaging through old people's stuff in their basement, and I just can't stand it. It feels dirty to me. I don't like it. It's never good stuff. I've never been to like a Salvation Army and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they got rid of this.
Well, have you been to a Salvation Army in Northville?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Can't stand it. I can't, and also like I'm too big to wear any of the clothes that they're selling.
That's fair.
I just don't like it. I hate it. The most disgusting thing somebody could do is way blown out of proportion. I want to be honest with you guys, but I just can't stand it. I hate the smell.
I was
don't know.
waiting to see if you were going to say anything because it also has a distinct and nostalgic smell.
Yeah, it's just I'm not a fan. I remember growing up I used to hate the way that Home Depot smelled. And now I'm like, oh, this is a good smell. But that smell never changed for me. Not a fan.
You go thrifting, Mike? Back in the day?
Not so much lately. Now I just kind of buy the same 3 pairs of pants from not the Gap, from Old Navy on repeat. Like I literally just went to Old Navy and I grabbed 3. I was like, this size, this color, this fit, boom. And I can hold up one of the pairs of pants that's getting ready to start getting holes in it. Oh, and then just like go, and look at that! I'm wearing the brand new pair. Like I legitimately am just that's the point I've hit. But I used to. couple of my all-time favorite pairs of jeans came from a thrift store.
Wasn't
my
your
all-time
elephant
favorite
shirt?
hat?
Wasn't your elephant shirt from a thrift store?
No, the elephant shirt I got in a concert.
Ah.
It was Lucian's church boss. He was in a band in high school, and they started chucking out T-shirts. And I saw this one coming, and I was like, "It's gonna go over my head. I just don't have the vertical jump to get high enough to catch this." So what I did was I ran up to the person in front of me, jumped without warning them, grabbed their shoulders, and propelled myself as hard as I could upwards. Cleared the person, and then caught this thing like 8-9 feet in the air, and just like, yeah, it was one of the more impressive feats of athleticism. And that dude should have kicked the crap out of me. That was not cool. But I got a T-shirt, and then I opened it up, and it was a dancing pink elephant, and I was like, I don't like this. And then I wore it ironically until I liked it.
I will say then that was like his staple shirt at camp. It's like,
Yeah,
Mike?
people
No,
love
who's
that
that? The guy with the pink elephant. Oh, yeah, that guy, the F-boy, yeah.
Yeah. And I was not either a fat boy. Thank you very much. And also my yellow checkered hat with the crazy bent up brim. I got that at a thrift store. I had that lamp that had the bronze eagle and then a big orange glass blown orb. That was awesome. Despite what every girl I ever dated had to say about it.
They don't know. They don't know.
They don't know.
My picture of a ship, I got that at a thrift store. Love that.
They don't know.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff I picked up at thrift stores, but so you just gotta have the touch.
I like thrifting.
Nobody's touched me the right way.
Oh, whoa, okay. I like
Sorry,
thrifting,
continue.
especially non-wearable items. Well, not as popular now, but before records blew up, you could get some fantastic records cheap at a thrift store. And then sometimes you'll get lucky, and I see it more online than I actually get it, but sometimes you'll find a cheap video game for sale that's rare or something, or you find limited edition Pokemon cards or whatever, and you can just get these awesome finds. So while I don't hit those very often, I do like a good thrift store. That's where I got all my suits in high school for homecoming and prom and everything was at a thrift store. But yeah.
Also, physical books. I've got some good books from thrift stores when I still collected physical books. Physical movies I still collect. You can get them you can get a DVD for a quarter at a thrift store. I've got a lot of scores that way, and I just keep them in these massive 400 to a binder, disc sleeve container things. There's some wins at a thrift store.
Yeah. The thrift store where I'm at though is so bad. Except we've got these really they're wine glasses, but instead of your classic thin, bowl on the top, it's just a mason jar. It's a thick stem.
Nice.
Got them for 50 cents, I think, for both of them. So that was a fantastic find at our local thrift store. But yeah, the one here is just awful.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, location checks out. So my number one, and forgive me, I am now just realizing it. It's very much in the same vein as 3, but it is probably it has to do with the most commonly and the most sold drug in the world, caffeine, and it is the most popular way to consume this drug, and that is coffee. I have never developed a taste for it. Same like beer. So again, forgive me. I wasn't thinking of the liquid. They're both liquids, both drinks. They're usually one's cold and one's hot. No, I can't stand coffee. I love how coffee smells.
How do I not know this about
but
you?
I don't know. I that is weird, especially knowing
we
hung out
Starbucks together.
Yeah, and I never
I'd have remembered this.
I always got a cake pop or something. But yeah. And that's even, makes it even weirder that I like Guinness and a car bomb is because it's a dark ale. But every time I smell it, I want so badly to like it. And this also works for espresso and all that stuff, lattes. And every time I'm disappointed. I even told Becca one time, I'm like, hey, for the caloric intake, I am going to force myself to like coffee. So I'd take half of an espresso shot of black coffee, which a lot of people will be like, hey, you're drinking it black. But again, it's for the basically no calories that I wanted it for, so I didn't want to add cream and sugar and all that. And I still couldn't do it. And Becca's been like, oh, I think you'll like this one. And all I taste is the coffee undertones in her mixed drinks and everything. And I would rather I'd rather like coffee over beer, but I just can't. I can't do it.
Where do you get your caffeine at? Like, where's the...
Unhealthier stuff like carbonated beverage, pop and energy drinks.
Yeah, what's your go-to? Well, it's not cocaine. Like, where do you get your...
Yeah,
why are you being weird? Are you a Monster guy? Or like, are you or
Monster's not my favorite. I'll drink it. It's like what I have right now.
Oh, okay.
What I've really been messing with Celsius, which is I think it's allegedly a little healthier. It's
less unhealthy.
Yeah, it's less. It's more natural. But I didn't realize this until someone pointed out it has like 200 milligrams of caffeine in it, which is crazy amount. But I really like Celsius.
Have I talked about Panera's like crazy charged lemonades on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if this podcast, but I do.
So we had the Sip Club when those were a thing, and Mackenzie and I worked in the same building for completely different departments, and so she would go to work, get herself a beverage from Panera, use my phone number to get a free large of the it was like cranberry and maybe some kind of cranberry apple lemonade combination, no ice, so just the full thing, more than you were supposed to get. And she would put it in the fridge in the maintenance office, and then I would go to work and I would stop by Panera and I'd pick one up on the way. And so I'd come in and I'd swap them, and I'd drink the entire charged lemonade, no ice, large. And then I'd go to lunch and I'd pick up another one because the 2 hours had elapsed and I could use it again. And I'd swap them again and I'd drink the one that was in the fridge. And then by the end of I would do 3 of those a day, 5 days a week. And I never had a problem. I mean, I had lots of problems, but like it was never like an identifiable change in the problems that I had because of that thing. And yet I've heard people died from drinking like one of them. I don't know what was going on with my system. But
one kid with like health issues died. But
okay, that makes more sense. I never looked into it. I just heard about it and I was like, huh, weird.
ChatGPT told him,
Fake.
I'll stop.
Fake news.
I like that Rob just reacted to the face he assumed correctly that I made.
What's your number 1, Mike?
So, it's funny. Before the podcast, we were talking about how since getting saved, my relationships with certain things and ideas has changed. And since getting saved, my relationship with illicit mood-altering substances has changed. And as a result, I don't dance anymore. I want to like dancing. I just can't do it while being of sober mind and body. And I like the idea, but the music doesn't move through me. I like music, but I got no rhythm, no swing, nothing.
I want to challenge the fact that you're saying you could do it when not sober. I want to challenge you
I didn't
with
say
that.
I could do it well.
Okay, I want to say that you just care less.
Yeah.
I think it's probably worse, but
Yeah, I would do it. I love the idea of and the problem is I don't like songs that people dance to. Like if we went out and they just played like early 2000s emo and pop punk music, I'll bet you I could let loose and
jump up and down,
really move. There's a song I have in mind that I will not discuss until next week's podcast. But when that song came on one of the very few high school dances I ever attended, boy, I boogied like you would not believe.
Oh, you're boogieing.
But it's a very rare thing. Like I was moving to the extent that people stopped, looked, cheered, and then later asked me where the hell that came from. To be continued. What are your guys' thoughts on dancing?
I liked swing dancing back in when it was offered at Bear Lake. I'm kind of like you. I
Yeah.
like the thought of dancing. I'm just not very good.
I like dancing like in a group. I like dancing like with my wife.
Who doesn't love line dances? Especially like the cha-cha slide and the Cupid shuffle.
And
Yes,
then,
I'm
yeah,
white. Deal with it.
oh my gosh, that was aggressive. Don't put your white all over me.
Oh, so
Yeah.
many things I could say,
I'm
but
here. I'm white. Get used to it.
I wish I could do the hustle like in the Detroiters, but I could not.
Yeah. So I like doing those kind of things.
Do the hustle.
Sorry.
You can do the hustle. The hustle's not that hard.
Yeah, I'm sure I could.
Yeah.
That was why the.
Um.
Oh, go ahead.
No. That's how I like dancing.
So you like the slow dances?
I like dancing with your wife. Sorry, I can't say that.
Up in the club.
No, it's a bonding situation, I guess.
know him
Is
as
that-
Oh. Hey-o.
Like,
Keep it in the bedroom, Lou. We don't need it here.
Sorry, are we not all on the same page or no? Am I?
All right.
What is that sound?
It's
That
the
was
birds
whatever
outside
it
of
sounds
Mike's.
like when I whistle into a microphone.
Okay.
Birds outside of Mike's window. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. Next week, we're going to be talking about top 3 sequels for movies, and it has to be the second movie. It can't be like the third movie, which is technically a sequel. But we're going with the sequels. Top 3 of those, and we'll see what we pick. It should be interesting. I'm excited to see what we pick. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, if you're not on YouTube, be sure to go and follow us on YouTube because we should be putting out more shorts and kind of short form content there. Make sure you join our Discord to discuss The Hobbit. I'm excited and kind of nervous where some people on this pod are sitting with The Hobbit, but it should be a good discussion. We're reading it along with it this month. And if you're watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, check the comments below. We got some people that comment down below. And on that, hope you guys have a great week. Catch you next time. Peace.
So the real nostalgic thing was when I was 13 and
All over the place.
What?